Now, over the last few days, and as we've discussed on this show tonight, the country has been debating that remark by President Uhuru Kenyatta about tribes and all. And away from the usual analysis, at a deeper level, this remark could be seen as an attempt to offer a possible counter-narrative to the equally woolly mantra of hustler versus dynasties, championed by Deputy President William Ruto and his allies. On my angle tonight, I'm disturbed by both of these propositions. And it's for the simple fact that they both touch on what can be called the raw nerves of Kenya's very history, but in so casual a manner as to make both of them extremely dangerous and potentially destabilizing. In summary, both of these are attempts at weaponizing people's identity, real or imagined, as avenues to political power. They are both attempts by the political elites to continue mobilizing and manipulating populist concerns to secure cheap political advantage at the expense of sustainable nation building. I will now explain. You see, there is no denying that since independence, or perhaps even before, tribe has had literally everything to do with our politics. But it has hardly been because communities have had a natural hatred for one another. Far from it. Instead, the seed of ethnic suspicion has been shown to manifest over the years by deliberate actions by those in power to falsely project the presidency as the property of an ethnic community, and in many instances deliberately skew political appointments and allocation of resources through the prism of that same ethnic logic. In so doing, the political elite from other ethnic communities have responded by mobilizing through the very same primordial structures of belonging and herded their kith and kin like sheep to the ballot every 5 years. While the president's remarks may be an acknowledgement of this open secret of Kenya's politics over the last almost 60 years, it does not provide a constitutionally sustainable suggestion on how to make merit rather than mother tongue the chief qualification for political leadership. In other words, that remark raised deep questions about Kenya's nationhood, but only offered the beaten path of tribe as the possible answer. And that is disturbing. On the other side of the political divide is the hustler narrative, including which some people, including its promoters, have hailed as the first attempt at organizing the country's politics outside the usual ethnic box. And on the face of it, that appears true, even though it is yet to stand the test of the ethnic euphoria that comes with Kenya's election. But that is not what is most worrying about the seemingly radical idea. First, it preys on the fears and anxieties of Kenya's underclass, the people who feel left out by the prevailing economic system, the people who struggle every day to make ends meet, but whose hard work is only scantily rewarded. In typical Trumpian populism, this narrative promises these Kenyans a seat at the political table and the hope of an overnight reversal of their fortunes. They are told that their misfortunes have been caused by some loosely identified entities codenamed dynasties. I say loosely identified because no one has explained to us what truly makes one a hustler or not. Is it just someone who has no job or does a small business? How small? Is the teacher in the village who has solar power in his house a hustler? What about the shopkeeper, the local trading center, or the policewoman? And what if the hustler with a mkokoteni grows to buy a pickup and becomes a landlord in Dandora? Is he still a hustler? These are important questions because an attempt to create identity politics without a clear definition of those identities is a recipe for chaos and confusion. What are we to make of the statements like the next government will be formed by hustlers? Does it mean we will suddenly have Mama Mboga as the cabinet secretary in charge of something? Maybe. But shouldn't we be told that in clear terms? And what happens to the rest of Kenyans? So does it mean we are all hustlers? And what if some people interpret the rhetoric to mean that anyone who owns a car or a house or a posher mill or a factory is part of dynasties that need to be fought? I pray that 2021 will be a year where all sloganeering will be stripped bare and rigorously analyzed, and that Kenyans can finally ask critical questions to the same usual politicians who have become so skilled at shedding off their old skins and coming back repackaged in new slogans and epithets. And that is my first angle for 2021.